Welcome to part number 5 of the Legend of Zelda Swordless challenge. Now before we head off to dungeon number 4, we have some more item collection to do. In dungeon number 3, we got the raft, which allows us to cross some lakes and rivers at certain points. You can see there's this dock that you can use the raft on. It's pretty self-explanatory. And with it, we can get another heart piece. Just head the same direction you went in the very beginning of the game, when we went to get the letter for the medicine, and then you will find it on the way there. Except this time you have the blue mail, so it becomes a lot easier. Enemies won't hurt you as much, which is always good. I use the magical boomerang here because it stuns enemies, and that's always nice. That's what it's useful for. It doesn't kill that many enemies, only the really weak ones, but it's good for stunning enemies. If you need to run by them and you don't really need to kill them, it's good for that. Anyways, use the raft right there, collect your heart piece, and once you get that, you are well prepared to move on to dungeon number 4. Now, dungeon number 4, it's the first dungeon that we can't complete yet. Now for this dungeon, you need either the sword or the magic wand to defeat the boss. Obviously, we don't have either of those, so we can't complete this dungeon yet. So you may be thinking, why even go to the dungeon right now if you can't complete it? Well, I'm going because I want to get the ladder. The ladder helps out a lot in later dungeons, and it also allows us to get another piece of heart. So, you don't really need to go get the ladder right now, but it helps out a lot. And it may seem like just a waste of time going there, but you want to be well prepared for every dungeon. You want to be as prepared as you can possibly be, just so you have the easiest time possible. So I recommend you go get the step ladder right now. You certainly don't have to. You can go out of order. You can go to the next dungeon if you want. You don't have to, but I think that you should go because it allows you to get more health, and it helps out a little bit in the dungeons with some of the water rooms. It allows you to cross some narrow passageways, so I recommend you go get it. The boomerang is useful for taking out those bats, which are called keys for some reason. I don't know why. Why not just call them bats? I don't know. For these enemies, you can use the bow, and that will split them up into 2 red bats. Once they're split up, switch to the boomerang, and that will take care of them easily. Should be no problem for you. Dungeon number 4, it's filled with a lot of easy enemies. There's not that many troublesome enemies. The problem is, you can't defeat the boss, so you obviously can't complete this dungeon quite yet. For these dark rooms, pull out your candle and just use it in the room. Then the room will light up and you will be able to see. If you've memorized this game, then you obviously don't really need to use the candle, but I haven't memorized this game. I don't know the layout of every single room. I just don't. I don't know this game that well. I mean, I know it well, but I don't know it that well. I'm not an expert per se. I mean, I'm quite good at the game, but I wouldn't call myself an expert at the game. I'm just quite good at the game. As I mentioned before, I did need to download maps for all of the dungeons, just so I could plan out my route and make things a little bit easier on myself. It's certainly not necessary, and if you know this game by heart, then you don't need to download maps because you're a professional. You know this game inside and out. You know it like what's the phrase, like the palm of your hand or the back of your hand? I don't quite know, but yeah, you know it like that, so obviously you do not need the maps. Kill all the enemies in the room, push the block, head down into the secret chamber, and collect the step ladder. Once you collect it, you can just save and head off to the next heart container. You may have saw it when we got the heart container with the raft. It's kind of hanging off the side of the ocean. You need the stepladder to get to the platforms where it's on, so yeah, make sure you get this right after you get the stepladder, and then you will be well prepared for the next dungeon, which it's always nice to have more health, because when you have more health, you're less likely to die, and your potions refill more magic, and yeah, that's always good. It's always nice to have some more health. You don't need to travel very far, just like with the raft. In fact, this time you have to travel even less distance, so it's not much of a problem at all. Just use the stepladder. It's automatic, don't worry about it. Grab the heart container. Oh, look at this. I almost die right here. And then save and quit and move on to the next dungeon.